Hey, if you're wondering why I have so many different college sweatshirts, I don't think I'm the only person that has a lot of different shirts from different colleges. I know a lot of people that went to different colleges, right? And I visited them all, so I bought a sweatshirt from all of them. This is really old. I've had this since I was like 10 years old. We visited Chico State. Actually, I think it's my mom's. But she gave it to me, and I have to tie it in the hood, otherwise it's just like really open. I didn't actually go to college. In my college years, when I was supposed to be in college, I was getting in fights. So one day I went to San Francisco in this sweatshirt. We got in a big fight, and the person who was supposed to be on my side didn't want me to fight, pulled on my sweatshirt and ripped it instead of just letting me do what I had to do. So, but thank God, because she said, "You don't understand, they had knives." And I was like, what? So it's a good thing. Good things happen, right? I consider this one of those good things. So the horrible thing about that night is that one of my cousins, who was actually in the fighting, I was going in to help out, got beat up pretty bad. He ended up in the hospital that night. So yeah, this sweatshirt may have saved my life, but it didn't really save his. Anyway, lessons learned. I have a lot of sweatshirts from different colleges. But this video is about coronavirus. I've survived a lot, and one of them is possibly coronavirus. But what I wanted to tell you is what I think people don't really know. I don't know if they're talking about this. I don't watch the news. The only reason I know about the coronavirus is from word of mouth and the internet on the Instagram and stuff. I'm like, oh, what's that? But I didn't really know anything about it until just before I was going on a trip to Las Vegas. And I was like, well, I don't know that I should go to this thing anymore, but I went anyways. And like, what do you know, 14 days after I get back, I'm sick. So I don't know if it was corona. If it was, I definitely caught it from somebody else, not in Las Vegas, from somebody else here where I live. But basically, I think it's a lot more people infected with corona than they have numbers for. A lot more because we're being told not to go to the hospital if we're sick, not even to get tested if we're sick. So if you want to get tested for corona, see if you're carrying, do it before you're sick, not after you're sick. Because I asked if I could go into the hospital to get tested while I had the fever, and they said, no, do not go into the hospital. We don't want you at the doctor's office. You'll get telephone appointments and online messaging, but you will not go to the hospital. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do if I'm like dying over here? And they were telling me get this, that, and the other, Tylenol, ibuprofen, Benadryl, stuff. And I was like, well, those are over-the-counter drugs. Like, are you kidding me? There's nothing I can do about this. I will say this. I did get the flu shot. I am very active. I work out at least 4 or 5 times a week. I am on other medications for some other stuff. So, like, I'm just evened out with my risk factor there. But if it would, they're saying that it could have been a bad reaction to my antibiotics. It could have been coronavirus. It could have been both. We don't know because we didn't test you. That's what they're telling me. We didn't test you. We don't know. Okay, great, fine. You know what I mean? So anyway, basically what I'm saying is that there's so many other people that have had this diagnosis. And the only way we hear about them is if they die. But partly some of the reasons we won't hear about it if they survived is because they were on other medications, or it was thought to be something else, or they weren't sure what it was, so they just stayed inside. So the good thing about that is that it's possible. There's a lot more survivors than we think. The bad thing about that is there's a lot more carriers that we don't know about. So you have to be careful with yourself, regardless of whether or not you're in the age range of high risk. Like I work in a gym, so I was very aware of that. As soon as I started feeling sick, I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here, because where I work, it's a leisurely kind of gym. So there's a lot of older people. Most of the people that most of the members there are over 50. So I had to leave. I was like, I can't stay here. I gotta go. I gotta go. I was in a rush to get out of there. I didn't know that I had a fever. I just felt a little bit sick, just a little bit sick. And everybody had their eye out on me because they knew I had been out of town. This is not a small city. This is a big city, but I live in a community. It's not really gated, but it's like those senior communities. It's not just for seniors, but it's just I forget what you call them. Like what do you call them? Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. Anyway, so it's just a little community where the gym is for the community. They have a grocery store and everything just for this one little place. But it's part of the same city. So, I mean, most of the people are older, or small children come to swim. And I didn't want to be responsible for infecting any of those people. I serve the food, basically. It's food and the drinks. And so I got out of there as fast as I could. And I just realized after getting over this, oh my God, there's some pros and cons to this, you know. So yeah, there's a lot more people that have survived that we don't hear about. That's the plus. And it is in the mid-age range. But the cons to that is that there's people out there that are carrying this thing and they don't know it. And they didn't even have to go anywhere. They may not have even been traveling. So yeah, just be really careful. It's not so important to overload yourself at the grocery store. You know, there's Target.com and Amazon and all those places online that you can go to that, I mean, I'm not trying to put these places out of business or anything. I would love it if you came to my store to come buy a sandwich. I got to go back to work on Thursday. But I understand that for a while it's going to be kind of slow. Yeah. So those are the two things that I've realized. If they haven't been talking about that, maybe they have been talking about that. I don't know. I haven't heard it, but I haven't been watching a lot of videos about this. So here's from a survivor of something fluish. Thank you. Bye-bye.